Hey, we're live. Apologies about the lateness. This was my fuck up, not the lads. I was worried my computer get fried because there was thunder and lightning, so I was holding off plugging the bastard in. So tonight, if you haven't seen the fucking title of the stream, what the fuck are you doing here? We're going to be discussing
It's a legitimate question.
Deadpool and Wolverine, and this is a spoiler-filled review. So if you haven't seen it, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck?
We're gonna fuck it up for you. We're gonna spoil it, motherfucker.
Yeah,
You're fucked.
It's been 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks. You had enough time.
It's been 2 weeks.
Time.
Most everyone probably has seen it once or twice already. So if you haven't seen it, it's your own fault because we're gonna spoil the hell out of the picture.
If not, fuck you. You know. So
yeah, fuck it. But before I get started, I just want to introduce some of the sexy bastards that are joining me this evening. First off, the always awesome, always legendary Horror Miser Monty G. Below us, Eric, a man whose beard even fucking rivals my own. Hey, Internet Eric here. Hello. And down here, all the way in New Jersey, we have Mike from American Werewolf in New Jersey. Unless he's just being fucking ironic and he's in Tijuana or some fucking where, which would be fucking
like you would fucking know. You're in Dublin. Oh, wait. No, I'm sorry. You're not in Dublin.
Oh, fuck this shit. Anyway, let's get cooking.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
So, lads, I had essentially given up on Marvel, bar a couple of gasps of enjoyment, be it Guardians of the Galaxy and some of the TV shows. I had essentially been like, okay, Marvel's fucking day is done. And then we got this, and maybe it was a combination of this was the only MCU movie we got in 2024, but this was really good. And I'm going to get into a bit more and discuss it with the lads. But this movie surprised me on a number of levels because, you know, when you think of Deadpool, you think of silly, goofy kind of shit. But there was a lot of emotional resonance with this movie. The other ones had as well prior, but again, I'll get into that. But off the fucking trot, Monty, what was your initial thoughts and initial feelings on Deadpool and Wolverine when you saw it?
Yeah, well, I had no doubt that this was going to be a great film. Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. It is, you can't get any other actor to emulate the type of character Deadpool is, because if you don't know in the comics, I don't know when Marvel started having him break the fourth wall all the time, because I can't remember when. But when he broke the fourth wall, that's when he became a popular character in the comics. But then Ryan Reynolds finally played him the right way, not that goddamn messed up, stupid mess that they had in Wolverine Origins, X-Men Origins Wolverine, not that one, but this particular one. And Ryan Reynolds just fits the great character. And I knew for a fact, you know, the fact they got Hugh Jackman to come back, and I knew the chemistry because they're actually good friends in real life. So I knew the chemistry was there. The story was good. Everything was good. The cameos, which we'll talk about, was a bit surprising. As a matter of fact, when a certain person appeared, half the audience stood up while I stood up and started clapping. Because I even started clapping because I had no way that was going to happen based upon another film that Ryan Reynolds and this guy did before, which we'll talk about later. So I was not surprised how great this movie was.
It was a cracker of a fucking flick, and again, it seemed to be like if Marvel was a drowning child, this was the kid resurfacing to the water to get a fucking decent gasp of air. Mike, what was your initial thoughts on viewing Deadpool and Wolverine?
Let me just start out for a second by saying that I didn't want to see this at all. And Eric can you know, I don't like Deadpool movies as a rule. Because it's just one liner after one liner after one, and after a while you're just like, Jesus Christ. I mean, you know, you get some laughs at it. It is what it is. You know, I'm not criticizing. That's what the Deadpool character is. I've just never necessarily been a fan. So I was not going to see this. And I said, I'm not going to go see it. I'm not really interested. Everybody have fun. And then the reviews started to come back and everyone was just raving about how fantastic this was. So on and so forth. I said, fuck it. You know, I used the Regal app, so I paid like 50 cents for a movie ticket. And I went in and saw it. And wow, I was glad to be wrong. Fantastic film. The things that I usually don't like that I just sort of listed about Deadpool movies were counterbalanced by the performances of Hugh Jackman, who actually did some real acting, like there was a real actor in there, not someone just spouting off zingers. And not to mention all the other cameos that we got to see. It's actually made me go out and purchase a lot of those old pre-2008 movies since I've seen it. I've bought both Fantastic Four movies. I bought the director's cut of Elektra. All these different things because it's revitalized my interest in that time before we got into the big three-phase Infinity Saga. So, fuck yeah, it was really good. Had a little bit in the middle where I was kind of like, but yeah, I give it 4.5 out of 5. Fantastic.
Nice. It's well worth the watch. And again, if you haven't seen it, turn off this fucking stream, come back, watch it later because this is well worth watching. Eric, initial thoughts after viewing your first viewing of Deadpool and Wolverine?
I was super excited to see this film because I'm a huge fan of Fox's X-Men movies. Like I own pretty much every single one except for New Mutants, and for good reason. Eventually I'll get New Mutants, but and I didn't mind the Deadpool movies. I know what they are. It's dick and fart jokes, but I'm also a Kevin Smith fan, so I can handle dick and fart jokes. But there is some heart to those. And I figured there'd be a lot of heart to this one because Hugh Jackman was so damn, adamant. Hey, okay, don't shit on what happened in Logan. And Logan is probably my favorite X-Men movie other than Days of Future Past. And me and my buddy were going to go see this on a Saturday. I saw this. I found this, however you want to say this, on a Wednesday, because I know how it is. Spoilers are going to be everywhere the day of release. And I'm glad I did see this early because that Thursday there was already fucking YouTube thumbnails of the cameos. And that's what really pisses me off when it comes to people on YouTube. So I'm glad I saw this early, but when I saw it, like, I guess you'd say officially in the theaters, there was no change. I still loved it. I still had a lot of fun. The cameos were still great. And what I liked about this film, it's not a cameo movie. They use those people to bring you into the theater, but the cameos are used properly in the story. And that's what I like. And they are characters that finally get their time to shine because they have been forgotten. Or like Blade, who's been in development hell for like the last 3 or 4 years, that'll never get fucking made. I don't think, that movie. And then it was just so much fun sitting down, the crowd reaction. But then again, we got to see again how great Hugh Jackman is with the dramatic stuff. And I bought it 100%. Lots of fun, but it's not just a fun movie. It is a good movie. It
is. Also, hello, Sean.
Sean.
How long I've been waiting for this, Sean, legend. And fucking, he's dead right. One thing, okay, so the topic I want to fucking crack on the head right off is, and you guys mentioned it with Jackman, but there is a lot of emotional weight to this movie than there has any right to be for a fucking Deadpool movie. And yeah, you're right, Jackman acts the fucking shit out of the role of Wolverine. He's in pain and suffering. But Reynolds does as well. Sure, it's buried under a quagmire of one-liners and jokes and shit. But like the scene where he's going in pleading to, again, guys, spoilers, he goes into Happy Hogan. I will fucking kick it off from here. He goes into Happy Hogan and he pleads to be on the Avengers because he needs a sense of purpose. And I think, like, maybe I'm getting a bit existential here, but I think men, young men, there's at some point in your life you've always thought, I need a fucking sense of purpose. I want a sense of purpose, and you've been down to the lowest. And I think any person of be it Generation X to fucking Generation Y has had that moment where they question their value, and that scene resonated with me. And I don't know, am I pulling shit out of my arse, Monty? Do you think, like, what did you as well as Jackman? Do you think Reynolds done a good performance from an emotional fucking standpoint?
Oh yeah, I mean, when you get some emotion from Deadpool, that's really something. And I think And because at the time we really didn't know that he had stopped being a mercenary and he's wanted to do something, he wanted to have his life purpose because he didn't know what he wanted to do anymore. So that's the reason why he went to Earth 616 and pleaded for Happy Hogan. Hey, let me join the Avengers. Maybe I get some purpose. And I really thought that was a nice scene there because, it's hard when you have a person such as the Deadpool character and you really don't actually see any emotion other than the fact he wanted to get revenge for what Ajax did to him in the first film.
Yeah.
And I thought that was very good of seeing emotion coming from a character like Deadpool, because you really don't think you can see it, but you actually do see it. And of course, Ryan Reynolds is very good in exploiting that vulnerable side of Deadpool that most people will not get a chance to see.
You're right, Monty, and you're right, Sean, as well. Like, again, we had, like you were saying, with Ajax and stuff, the pain of not wanting Vanessa to see him in the first movie, and then the death of Vanessa and wanting to save Fire Fist in the second one. There's glimpses, but I think there's a stronger fucking emotional drive for Wade in this movie than the prior ones. Like, I'm not saying they were devoid of it, but I think this is the peak of the kind of emotional investment we have and Wade has in the situation. Mike, what do you think? Do you think it was just all Jackman fucking working his ass off, or had Reynolds at least some bit of fucking emotional moxie for you in the game?
No, I mean, it's a seesaw. And that's what I appreciated, with Jackman sort of playing the straight man, whereas, Deadpool's always playing the fool. So, that's actually what made it work. And, this disruption of the steadiness of his one-liners with like a general sort of come up. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? That kind of thing is what actually made it work. Everyone, but I mean, despite the fact that, the Deadpool character is that way, it's obvious that everyone involved in this project, especially Ryan Reynolds, gives a shit. So, he's playing the role that he's supposed to play. Is that the role that he, is born to play? Or, is he, sort of, Deadpool, is he just being himself? I don't know. But it works for that particular character. And, the other people that are brought in later, when we see Wesley Snipes, when we see Jennifer Gardner, we see all these different people, we see Chris Evans. You can tell there's just, a heavy reverence, for what they're being asked to do, to revitalize either these old characters or especially the switch up with Evans, which is, which was just, I think that was the best surprise
it was
of the film.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Like, again, I think there was a bit more it might have been a bit nuanced, but there was a bit more of an emotional kick to Wade in this movie.
Yeah, the main part was when they're in the car together, and he's trying to tell Logan, you were the guy, you know what I mean? You were the X-Man. You might not know what, I might not be able to know how to save the world, but you do, that whole spiel, and he's holding up the picture. And then when Jackman just tears him a new asshole.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's like one of the, other than the campfire scene where he's talking to Laura, that is the biggest scene of Jackman's acting. You know what I mean? And when I'm talking about acting, I'm talking about like actual acting, not beating people up on screen. Yeah. And the way he looks at me, it's like when you have a child and they do something really bad, and the parent is just telling the kid, you fucked up bad and this and that, because he even says you couldn't join the Avengers, you couldn't join the X-Men, and they'll take fucking everyone.
Yeah, I love that line.
And he said
that hurts.
He said that bald chick was right. You can't save anyone. You couldn't even save a relationship with a goddamn stripper.
Yeah.
And he says, and what I like is Deadpool doesn't say a word.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Logan is the first person in history to shut Deadpool up. And he even says that. He's like, what, you got nothing to say? Mouth? And what was great is Ryan doesn't do like a fart joke or anything like that. He whispers, I'm going to fight you now. And the way he says it, you know what I mean? Though his body language, he's just like, okay, all right, it's on. You know what I mean? You could tell in his delivery and his body language, he was hurt by this. Like there was definitely salt in the wound. So yeah, 90%, I think, of Reynolds is just, the quips and, the immaturity stuff. But when he needs to bring that drama, I think he did a really good job in this one.
Actually, Eric, you pointed out something just there that fucking, as well, you got to give him props. Yes, he does all the fart gags, all the jokes, all the crude humor, and he has that 10% of emotional impact. But he's also working against, for most of the scenes, he's wearing a fucking mask. That is not an easy fucking thing to do,
Right.
to emote wearing a fucking mask. Like, so you got to give him props for that.
Like his shoulders are slumped and everything. Like he his first F on the report card, and dad's saying, "What the fuck did you do?" type of thing. You know what I mean? That type of situation. The Wolverine's his dad. He's the kid, and this is the first time dad's been ever disappointed in him. You know what I mean? That's how I took it, and you could tell just by the body language that Ryan or Deadpool, knew he fucked up. But now he's also pissed, but it's that subdued pissed. And that's the scary kind of pissed, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Because you don't know what this guy will do. And I think he deserves a little bit more credit, in his acting. It's Ryan Reynolds. He's overshadowed with the immaturity of all of his roles. You know what I mean? From Van Wilder to Waiting to anything where he's, just a goofy idiot.
Well, he always plays the same character. It's not like he ever he picks something else to do, and you're like, well, he's just doing this one. He always plays the same guy. That's why, it's like that. What I was saying once about Kurt Russell. He's always playing Kurt Russell. There are certain characters, certain people that we love. Bruce Willis. He was always Bruce Willis. No matter what. And Ryan Reynolds is another one of those types. Hopefully you appreciate it because I love Van Wilder. It just makes tears come down to your eyes. It's so funny. I liked him in the original Wolverine movie, The Origins. Wolverine Origins.
You got a taste. You got a taste of the potential. The actual how Reynolds came into the role is kind of like in conjunction with Mark Miller's Ultimates, the way that the Ultimates comics came out first, and the artist drew Nick Fury like Samuel Jackson.
Yep.
Well, in the Deadpool comic, Deadpool has been asked, "Hey, who are you, Wade Wilson?" Well, I'm kind of a combination between a Sherpa and Ryan Reynolds, and that was a line in a comic before the movie, and that's where the yin and the yang kind of met. So that's pretty cool that the comics kind of essentially sowed the seeds for the role. So what happens is, in the movie anyway, as we find out, Deadpool doesn't get into the Avengers. He goes back to his own time, and he's essentially hung up his katanas and given up life as a merc. He's working is it used car?
Yeah,
used car salesman. Yes,
pre-loved automobiles, and it's his birthday, and all his friends are there, and you can kind of see that shit isn't going well with him and Vanessa. They've broken up, and then the TVA come and capture him. And given the events of the last movie, you're like, oh fuck, he must have fucked up that the TVA want him. But no, he's informed by Mr. Paradox, played fantastically by Matthew McFadden, that hey, apparently the higher ups say you're integral to the survival of the sacred timeline, which is Earth 616, the MCU universe. Monty, I said in my review before that for me this was a slight fly in the ointment, including the TV. I think they do explain it. They explain the whole role and how the TVA works in this movie. But I did feel that some people who don't watch the Marvel fucking TV shows would be at a disadvantage with this. Do you think, obviously they had to include the TVA, but do you think including the TVA was a bit unfair? Or
I don't know. Because when I was looking at this, I said, unless they watch the Loki TV series, they probably won't know what's going on here.
Yeah.
Because that's the only reason I had this when I heard that the TVA was going to be involved. I said, I don't know if that's going to work or not, because if you don't watch the Loki, you don't know who they are. But I thought they did a good job because they didn't show all of the TVA that was in Loki. They just showed this little particular part. So they kept most of that part out. of the movie, and we only got Mr. Paradox here, and I thought that was a good way of keeping something that most people don't really know about the TVA. I mean, if you read the comics, it's in the comics, but it's a little bit, just a little variation from the comics, from the source material is what we saw in Loki and here. But I thought he did a good job in intermingling something that most people didn't have to watch Loki and know about the TVA.
Yeah, I think they explained it well enough.
Mhm.
I just it always makes me nervous when it's like they bring in something from a TV show, or that's my issue with the MCU. If you want to watch the next movie, you have to watch 8 or 9 other fucking movies and a
Mhm.
TV show and stuff. That is the connectivity of the MCU is its
Yeah,
greatest strength, but it's also its greatest Achilles heel, in my
yeah,
opinion.
that was a problem with the Marvels, because if you didn't watch the Miss Marvel TV show, and if you didn't watch WandaVision, the WandaVision show,
Who's
you don't
this? Who's this chick? Who's this Indian chick?
who's this
Yeah,
little girl?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Who's the black chick?
yeah,
Yeah, no, it's like that was a problem with the Marvels.
yeah.
I kind of disagree with you guys. I mean, I didn't watch any of Loki. I was okay with it.
I know, yeah,
I didn't know who the TVA was, but I
yeah,
mean, you know, if you
yeah. Like I said, I
you put a
thought they did a good.
little, little critical thingies. It's just another big, comic book galactic, oversight committee or something like that. It wasn't all that complicated. And
Uh,
it's made. I mean, it's just past $1 billion. So
okay, they did explain it, but I really worry about the fucking. It's like
guys, I'll be back in
DLC.
just a second. I'll be right
No
back.
matter. It's like fucking DLC for video games. You have to get
Yeah.
one thing to understand another. I don't like that.
Um,
Eric, am I making a fucking mountain out of a molehill here?
It depends on how it's used. Example with this movie, sure they used the TV show, but it was explained. You know what I mean? And I have not seen a single episode of any of Marvel's television shows. I don't have Disney Plus. But the way they explained it here, I mean, sure, it was a simple explanation, but I was able to put two and two together.
Yeah.
Now, if it's something like I went in to watch Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness without watching WandaVision, who the fuck are his kids or her kids? Where did they come from? When did she have them? I know her and Vision didn't get it on. She didn't give birth. Why does she have children? There's no real explanation in Multiverse of Madness how Wanda lost kids that we didn't know she had. Now she's all psycho. So it all depends on how it's used. It's also like Star Wars. A lot of things, if you're watching Star Wars, it's kind of confusing. Oh, but in the book, this explains that. I don't want to have to read a fucking book to understand, a little bit of a backstory.
This is a movie. It's not a Ford fucking Pinto. I don't need
exactly.
to look at the
That's what
fucking
I'm, or they explain something later on down the road with like a comic book adaptation. No, you shouldn't have to do that. So I get your point, but the way it was done, at least here in Deadpool and Wolverine, I had no problem with it. But I know what you mean. It can be a huge downfall to someone who doesn't know the source material. And the problem is the way, Marvel is pumping out all this shit. You have to really see, everything that comes out just in case they say, name one fucking character that we saw 3 years ago. You know what I mean? And that's what I appreciated, that it was still modern by adding some Loki stuff, because he even broke the fourth wall. What, the creature from Loki season 1 episode 5. So
Yeah.
I get that, but if it's just just like with Multiverse of Madness, they just expected you to watch WandaVision to know who these children are. So I get both sides.
Yeah, because that was the one thing I had. The one problem I had with Multiverse of Madness, because like, wait a minute, if you didn't watch WandaVision, how are you going to know about Wanda and her children?
Mhm.
You're going to come in. When did she have kids? She never had kids.
Yeah.
Like I suppose you can go on YouTube. There's channels like Heavy Spoilers and Screen Crush that go over this stuff with a fine-tooth comb. Some of the stuff is ridiculous. Like, if you look in the wallpaper back here, you can see signs of shit that happened, and you're like, what the fuck were you putting this fucking
That reminds me, because the dude from Heavy Spoilers, he was talking about one of the scenes, and as a matter of fact, he said in the trailer you can actually see this little poster in the background, and it has a cover of the latest version of Secret Wars, and they're mentioning that Doctor Doom is going to this even before they announced Robert Downey Jr. was coming back as Doctor Doom. There's going to say that more than likely that the latest Avenger film is going to be Secret Wars, and they're going to probably do the Doctor Doom story. It's only because it's a little piece of thing that most people probably not pay attention to. But that's what this guy on Heavy Spoilers did. I'm like, damn, you got.
No, I think someone just found a Secret Wars comic.
I'm just
thought it would be
fucking on
funny
the
and
ground.
threw it on the fucking ground.
With
That's
Eric.
what it was.
I'm with Eric.
That's all it was.
They're fun videos to watch, but
Yeah.
Screen Crush and Heavy Spoilers, they're like, oh yeah, and there's the characters use this brand of toilet paper.
It's
so
like
they're connected to can, and I'm like,
we're horror fans. It's like that one Shining documentary. Oh, little Danny is wearing a shirt with a rocket ship on it. That means Kubrick faked the moon landing. He's just wearing a fucking sweater. Who cares?
Mike, you had no issue with the TVA or its inclusion or anything like that.
No, nothing. No, I mean, it was, you just figured out quickly it's another oversight committee. Like I said, I've never watched Loki. I did watch, you were mentioning earlier, WandaVision, that kind of thing. But, like you, I've kind of fallen away from Marvel. I tried a couple of their series. I went to see the Marvels. I thought that, the girl who plays Kamala Khan was the best part of it, but it's a terrible movie.
Across the board. Imran Vellani was the thing that saved that fucking movie.
Yeah, she was good in that film, and I had no problem with Brie Larson, but unfortunately, I didn't like the Singing Planet.
That was, I was like, fuck. I was like, okay. I saw the trailer. I'm like, okay, they're going to get Imran Vellani involved in this Indian Bollywood kind of fucking. No, I was like, the whitest fucking woman on the planet is going to be involved in the song and fucking dance number. Yeah, that makes fucking absolute sense.
And that's what I thought too. I said they're going to do a Bollywood number, and I said that's going to be good. But then it's like they got Brie Larson trying to dance. That makes no sense.
I gotta say, I have no problem really ever looking at Brie Larson. So,
no.
That's never been a problem.
Skull Island,
never been a problem. Yeah,
I figure you're going to break up Skull Island. Like I said, I don't have.
I love Skull Island. I love Skull Island.
I don't have a problem with Brie Larson either. It's not because she looks pretty, but I thought she did a good job in Skull Island and in Captain America. I mean, not Captain America, Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
It was okay. It was all right.
So basically, Matthew McFadden, who I think was actually a fucking brilliant actor. I loved him. A lot of people haven't seen Ripper Street. If loads of people.
That's where I know him from. I love Ripper Street.
Yeah. Everyone knows him from Succession. I know him from Ripper Street. Great fucking actor. Great comedic timing. Fucking great thespian. So he informs Deadpool, look, you're fucking important to the higher ups. They want to save you. We'll fucking kit you out. You're going to be part of the 616 universe. And Deadpool gets fucking suited up and molested on by the fucking dude who's a kid. Fantastic suit. By the way, your suit maker is a sexual predator. And she's like, okay, I'm going to go bring my friends over. And like, no. Your universe, we're gonna destroy it. We're gonna basically clip the timeline because I want to move up higher in the ranks, and I want to kind of fucking pare down all these other universes. And I love Deadpool's like, you're going to Old Yeller, my fucking universe. I love that line. It's funny, but it's so fucking deadpan because he's like, no, this ain't fucking happening. Eric,
what's great? What I like about this actor, I've never seen him before, to my knowledge, and I didn't want to interrupt you, but to play on the Old Yeller line. He follows it up by telling Deadpool, yeah, 2 in the belly, 1 in the head. Okay, let's get going. You know what I mean? He's such an asshole, but he's so calm and collective about it. He's talking to Deadpool, talking about how serious the situation is while someone brings him a fucking sandwich. You know what I mean? And he's just eating it in front of him. Like he's got a job to do, but he doesn't really give a shit if he's insulting to Deadpool or this and that. And that's what he's kind of oblivious.
Oh, he's a bureaucrat. He's a pure fucking bureaucrat. He's like, fucking everyone's figures and numbers too. And like fucking Wade clocks. Wait a minute, this is all off the fucking books. Yeah. The dudes upstairs don't know what the fuck you're doing. Monty, what was your thoughts on Paradox? Matthew McFadden's Paradox.
Yeah, I thought he was a great supporting character. I loved his. I never saw Succession before, so this is my first experience of it. I did a pretty good job. A guy obviously. I knew he had a hidden agenda, and I was waiting for that. And then when I saw it, I said, "Okay, yeah, hey, he's." I said, "No," and then I know what he's trying to get away with now. Yeah, but he was a very good side character.
He was cool. He was a cool kind of side villain or decoy villain. Mike, what was your thoughts on Paradox?
It was fine. I didn't wait. Flesh that out for me. I'm sorry. What do you mean?
No. What was your thoughts on the character Paradox? Do you feel that did he kind of overshadow Cassandra Nova, or was he a kind of good side villain, or a regular kind of fucking villain, or do you think he got lost in the mire?
No. He was fine. He just he was your typical bureaucrat.
Mm.
He was your stereotypical bureaucrat. Trying to do something that's far beyond what it is that he should be doing. And I think this guy is perfectly selected for it. So no, he didn't overshadow anything. I think for his particular angle of the story, and we see when the shit really does hit the fan, of course, he has no solutions whatsoever. He's completely fucking useless, which is, the textbook definition of a bureaucrat. But, I mean, he played it to perfection, he's making rules here and there, and, you're going to do this and, try to force people to do that. But then when, it comes back towards him, he has no clue how to respond. So it was extremely well played. Very good performance.
Yeah, it's again, he's a cool character, and he essentially informs Deadpool, look, the fucking anchor point to your universe, Logan, is dead, and your universe is dying. You okay, Eric?
It just makes me think. When he's explaining what the anchor is and stuff like that, how Deadpool thinks he's the anchor, and then when it's revealed that it's Logan, he's like, "What that fucker with forks for hands and stuff like that?" Like the disappointment. Like he thinks that he's the center of his universe, and he realizes, no, this ain't all about you, type of thing. And it was just that little performance just made me chuckle just thinking about it.
Yeah. And his reaction just fucking, you think you're the anchor, but fuck off. So Deadpool fucking clocks fucking Paradox, takes his fucking universe hopper, and one of the best parts, I think, one of my favorite parts, he starts hopping from different Earths to find a replacement Logan. Monty, which was your favorite that he encountered?
It's interesting because he encounters the actual size Wolverine because
comic accurate. That's the hot fucking stool.
Because everyone knows Wolverine is very, very short. He's only 5'3". I think that's how they list him in the comics. He's only 5'3", and I cracked up laughing because Kelly, she was right with me. She says, "Why is he so short?" I said, "That's his comic accurate sight. He's a very short man." I think I like the old man Logan.
Yeah, he fucking blows him away with the shotgun. That was fucking cool.
Then we got the Age of Apocalypse Logan, but I think the best one was the Henry Cavill Logan.
Calverine, as they're calling him.
Yeah, Calverine. Yes.
Mike, what was your favorite?
It was Henry Cavill.
What was your favorite?
It was Henry Cavill. Although, what I think I loved the most was that every Wolverine in every universe just fucking hated him.
Yeah.
Every Wolverine in every fucking universe just wanted to kill him. Yeah.
There wasn't even a discussion. It was just
that was the great part about Henry Cavill. He just turned around and looked at him. He goes, "You were just leaving." Like he just said, no, like we're not having this conversation. Get the fuck out, and yeah.
Mike, how did you feel as a Snyder fan? How did you feel about the crack about, we'll treat you way better than those guys down the street?
Yeah, well, I had avoided major spoilers, so I didn't know about Chris Evans or any of the others, but I knew about Henry Cavill. And so I knew that was coming. So I was okay. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. You know, and WB, Henry Cavill has definitely been screwed over. And it's a shame because I think he should be an A-list actor. And instead he becomes like the supporting star. You know, when I think he's clearly a lead. It hasn't happened for him yet. I think he just changed management companies. He had Danny Garcia as his manager, who is The Rock's ex-wife and also The Rock's manager. So my understanding was that all the choice roles automatically went to The Rock. You know, it was just like, okay, you know, I'm just the redheaded stepchild. But then if you look at the choices that The Rock typically makes, I wouldn't want Henry Cavill in any of those anyway. So, you know, I think he should be a leading candidate for Bond. Yeah, I mean, he needs that big project to just like launch him into, you know, the A-list.
The dude has become a bit of a geek god icon because he's played Superman, he's played The Witcher, he's now played a version of Wolverine, and apparently he is going to be the producer and starring in the Warhammer 40K movie.
I heard that just hit another snag. He may have gotten screwed over again. I can't remember the details, but yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah,
can't catch a break.
He can't catch a break. I mean, you know, especially what they did to him during Black Adam. You know, he went out and made that announcement that he's back as Superman. Next thing you know, nope, sorry, James Gunn has taken over.
I'm with you, Mike. I hope he gets a role that was like fucking Eric, what about you? Your favorite variation?
Well, they were all fun. They were all brief. I think what made it really fun was hearing Huey Lewis play during all these fucking variants. As much as I liked Henry Cavill, that was a fun oh shit moment. I think my favorite is Age of Apocalypse. Because when he just shows up and Wolverine, if no one knows, because they were describing, like I'd already seen the movie and then I went to see, you know, what people thought, and they were being as vague as possible, and they mentioned a punk rock looking Wolverine in spandex, and then of course that was Age of Apocalypse. But I love how they included the fact that he didn't have his hand, you know, because you know Cyclops blew him off in that storyline, and he's just sitting there in the, you know, pressed up against a brick wall in an alley, everything's on fire, and like Mike says, they all hate Deadpool. He just walks up, basically says hi, and he just gets punched right in the fucking face. You know what I mean? And he's just getting stabbed and kicked and thrown against the wall and just beaten to death, and there's not one word said. You know, no one talks to him other than maybe Henry Cavill, and I like that. But I think that was the most fun one for me because Age of Apocalypse came out probably towards the end of my comic book reading, like on a regular basis, and it was cool to see them go to that deep of a cut. You know what I mean, like I like seeing the Hulk and Logan in the brown outfit. That was cool type of thing. But I think my favorite was Age of Apocalypse.
I liked also because this is towards the end of my comic book, you know, sort of regular reading, the Patch character. They brought in Patch, and I assumed that was in Module 4. Yeah. You know, and he just skewers him right there on the table. Like, he just doesn't want to talk to him. He just comes like right there on the
he falls into like a excuse me, like a field of skulls, and it's just, you know, I've seen the comic book cover, but it's Logan crucified on a giant X.
The Reavers. Yeah, the
Reavers. And
you
you see how much pain is in Hugh Jackman's face, and Deadpool just like, nope, you're not who we're looking for. And he just turns around and ditches the guy, you know.
But so he finally finds a suitable version of Logan, and we basically were introduced to this movie's Logan in a bar at the counter, just fucking nursing his sorrows, and Deadpool goes up and starts fucking trying to heist him, trying to tell him, come on, you're coming with me, and the barman's taking the piss out of him, and Deadpool's like, yeah, usually this fucking dude kill everyone in this bar for say, what the fuck is up? And like Wolverine gets up and the claws kind of come out halfway out, and he's like, oh shit, whiskey dick of the claw. I hear it's prominent in Wolverine's over 40, and like he's fucking Logan's pressing his head to Deadpool's gun and stuff. So you're kind of like, okay, so what's the fucking deal with this Wolverine. Monty, what did you make when he finally found his quote unquote Wolverine? What did you think of this version that he encountered?
Oh, obviously, this is a Wolverine that's in pain, guilt, sadness. When we find out why he's that way, and it's like, well, damn, it's like this. Well, damn, this really a very different type of Wolverine that we've seen before in the comics. That the fact that he abandoned his teammates, and by the time he realized what happened, they all were killed.
Mm.
Mm.
It was an interesting way to introduce the character. I
Oh,
think.
yes.
Mike, what did you think about the introduction of this Wolverine? Did it catch you off guard? Did you think it was a good way to introduce it? Did you think okay?
Well, no, I thought he was a good Wolverine. I think this was a good variant. Wolverine is always a very tragic character. He's a tragic hero always. Because he's been alive for so long and he's seen so many people die, and you get the impression that he really doesn't enjoy killing. He's tired of everything, and so he's just weary and over 100 years old, and it's just tragedy. There's very little happiness in his life, and so this play that they've been using since the Old Man Logan story, that he's responsible for this big catastrophic event that they touched on a little bit in Logan. It turned out not to be him. It was Charles Xavier who killed all the X-Men. And he doesn't remember. He keeps blaming it on Wolverine. So I like that they kept that familiarity. That sort of familiar thing that he is responsible. He is and he isn't. I mean, he didn't do anything. It's just he wasn't there when it happened. So he blames himself, and for some reason, he just goes, well, the whole world has decided to condemn him for it.
My kind of thinking was, because the way he explains it is he killed people who deserved it and didn't deserve it. So my guess is he killed a bunch of humans who had obviously burnt down and murdered all the mutants in the X-Mansion. Maybe that version of the Avengers or some fucking Alpha Flight or something were sent in and he killed them as well. And it's just as a result, mutants are just viewed as just total scum now. And he's the one. He killed I could see the government sending hero after hero to kill him. And he just takes them out. And as a result, there's probably no fucking heroes left. Eric, what was your thoughts on the introduction of this Logan? And was there anything you noticed, or was there anything you felt that they done really good, or you were a bit kind of puzzled by?
I liked the introduction of this Logan because Logan, like Mike said, he's a tortured character. He's got all this weight to him because he's been around. Like Logan says when he's yelling at Deadpool, I've been around for 200 fucking years. He's been through some shit, and we know Logan. Logan doesn't like to drink and get drunk to be, to have that good buzz. He drinks to forget. He drinks to cope. Yeah. And when we see Logan in a bar, we know he's drinking to cope. And he's been there too long. The bartender basically says, you've had enough. And this is a Logan that wants to die because he puts his head right to the gun nozzle. And he doesn't, obviously, Logan's never going to flinch when someone pulls a gun on him. But the fact that he shows, he shows you, okay, go ahead, pull the trigger. What have I got to lose? This is the Logan I want. You know what I mean? Because I like that tortured Logan. I like it from Logan, from, some stuff of Days from Future Past, from the Wolverine, when he's still dealing with Jean's death that, he caused. That's the Logan character that I like. So I'm all for this tortured one.
Cool. Yeah, no, it's again, like Sean said in the comments there, all versions of Logan have to be tortured in some way. It's the kind of essence and the fucking the soul of the character. So he heises Logan back, and we find out this Logan has a comic accurate costume, a cartoon accurate costume. Paradox prunes the two of them, sends them into the void. And Eric, I'm going to start with you because this was a scene I think you got a bit excited for, the first fight between the two to hell's bells. Kind of like, did this get you amped? What did you think of the scene?
This it was great because it is very Mad Maxian. Deadpool even pulls that out. He says it'd be like IP infringement or something like that. But what I think, the way this director films it, it's like the two gunslingers in an old west, like literally down to the T. You have the camera shot, you see Deadpool in the distance, you just see Logan's legs, you know what I mean, and then you see the bullets popping out of them, that because they just had a little bit of a tussle, and the way they use AC/DC's Hell's Bells, just the gong. It's a great setup, and if you know the song, you know what's going to happen. And what I like is, he looks at the camera, he says, "Okay, nerds, get the special sock ready. It's going to be fun." And it really was a fun battle. Like it's not just what we saw in the trailer. Wolverine stabbing him in the dick and then getting shot in the sides. What I loved was when Deadpool is shooting at him, but then Hugh Jackman gets on all fucking fours like an animal and just charges at him. It was a great fight. Deadpool doesn't just get his ass kicked. You know what I mean? It's pretty 50-50. And it's violent, it's fun, it's brutal, and Deadpool's lucky. He pretty much says, wait, I can help you fix your universe type of stuff. But Logan doesn't know who this guy is. He doesn't care. He wants to be left alone, and he literally says, "Okay, try growing your fucking head back," right before Deadpool stops. And so it's just a fun fight. And like I said, I knew I was in for some fun when I've never seen Logan like on all fours, you know what I mean, dodging the bullets and then just sliding around and cutting them type of thing. It was a lot of fun and well done.
That was good. The fight's broken up by what people believe to be one. Mike, did you want to go over our first cameo, our first kind of cameo we get, and how good it is and how cleverly it's done?
Yeah, it's extremely clever because all of a sudden you're looking and he's suited up in blue. Chris Evans, looking scraggly, looking dirty, but looking, determined. And you're like, holy shit, they brought like a real MCU character, into this storyline because, we had seen the Hulk briefly, for just a second, this, that, and the other. And it turns out not to be Steve Rogers. It turns out to be Johnny Storm. And I just thought that was just a fantastic. I never would have predicted that because, as we all know, Chris Evans, before he was Captain America, played Johnny Storm in 2 different movies. And he was great in them. He was a completely different type of character, this sort of, rogue sort of comedic sort of character, sort of zinging off the one-liners to later be transplanted into Captain America as the stoic sort of, serious guy, the straight man. So to have him resume that original casting that he had, and I just bought those movies because of it the other day. I think they're in here somewhere. And it's just fantastic.
I only noticed something, Eric. You pointed it out to me that like Deadpool's getting excited because he thinks he's about to say, he's going to say the fucking line, and of what is it?
Simple.
Yeah. I think Johnny Storm says something like, "Oh yeah, come get me, numb nuts," and Deadpool looks at him.
You know something's up because you think it's Captain America. And there's that ongoing joke with Captain America. He's telling people to watch their language. He's a big dork. You know what I mean? Yeah. And what at least in the early films, he's a big dork. But then it's Pyro. Pyro pulls up and he's talking shit. And Captain or Chris Evans, he says, come and get us, numb nuts, or something like that. And then Deadpool quickly, he does like a double take. And if you're not paying attention, that's when you know something's up. It's because Captain America wouldn't say something just as lame as numb nuts, and that's not that vulgar. He wouldn't say it. And then he's all giddy like a kid. He's literally jumping up and clapping his hands, and he hits Logan because Logan's got swords sticking out of him. He hits Logan.
He's like, ah!
Yeah. And then he says he's going to say it. Say what? You know what I mean? Logan doesn't know or care. And then he's like, he's gonna say Avengers Assemble. Then suddenly he cuts him off and he yells flame on and shoots up in the air. And it's a fun reveal because you can see he's dressed in blue. He's got red and white bandages around his hands, so he's still wearing the American flag colors. So they're doing a good job of still hiding.
And he's got combat pants on the lower fucking section as well. He's wearing combat pants, and it's just like the minute where he says flame on and just that. Monty, what did you the minute he turned into Johnny Storm? What was going through your head?
I had a somewhat feeling when I first saw Chris Evans. I says, nah, no. I said, no way he's back as Captain America, because if they did a good job of hiding it. But then all of a sudden, I'm waiting for Deadpool saying that he's going to say Avengers Assemble. I said, no, he's not going to say that. Then I said, when he said Flame One, I said, "Oh, good one, guys, good one," because everyone forgets that he played Johnny Storm in the two Fantastic Four films, and the Fox did.
Mm-hmm.
The Fox did. I mean, the worst thing could have happened. You would see Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah,
I wish they would have done that.
That would have been brilliant. That would have been.
See, what's great is I appreciate Chris Evans a lot more now, because he didn't have to do this. That fucker is set for being Captain America as long as he has been. He's set for life, and the fact that he said yes and went back to doing something like this, it shows how A, he's got a sense of humor, and B, he enjoys the character of Johnny Storm too. So
the thing is, as well, he was willing to fucking make an absolute fucking ass out of the character, because fucking Pyro fucking extracts his powers. Fucking, he gets nutted on the first fucking beam, tumbles backwards, slaps his face off the second one, then lands on the ground. And the two lads are like, "We don't know this guy." That was Buster Keaton fucking levels of comedy. I thought it was clever as fuck. And basically, lads are captured. But before they are, they're Sabretooth. This old school Sabretooth wants to have a fucking go at Wolverine. And it's funny. I love the fact they got Tyler Mane.
Yeah.
Eric, I know you got 2 cents on this because you're like a wrestling fan as well. And Mike and Monty did all the year. What do you think of Mane coming back as Sabretooth?
I loved it. That's what, because I always tell people, for me personally, I like when movie trailers spoil it, because that gets me pumped up. You know what I mean? I'm going to go see a movie now. Okay, Tyler Mane's in it, and I know it's a cameo movie, so he's probably in it for 2-3 minutes, which is a lot less than what he's actually in the movie. And I love that. I actually love the build-up to this fight. You see him driving the vehicle first, and then, it's Sabretooth, your brother. You know, the stuff that the geeks already know. And he jumps down, and he looks great. You know what I mean? He still looks intimidating and scary.
Time to die, kind of.
Exactly. And I love, Deadpool does like the whole timeout, the Saved by the Bell timeout type of stuff. He says, "You look ridiculous." He's pulling all the swords out of Logan. He's telling Logan, of all people, how to fight, and then Logan just tells him, "Shut the fuck up." And it's like this epic, gun battle. You know what I mean? One guy on one end, one on the other, and then suddenly it's over in 10 seconds. I love that because it fits the tone of the movie. It fits the tone of, people have been waiting 2 decades to see this fight, and it's over in one swipe, and he's decapitated. I think that was brilliant the way it was.
Mike, what do you think of Mane coming back, even though it was a blink and you'll miss it kind of role?
Yeah, I could have gone for something a little longer. I could have. I could have actually gone, and although that would have maybe changed the tone of the film, I would have loved to have seen Liev Schreiber come back. Because
I would have liked to see them both.
Yeah,
the tag team.
Well, I thought his embodiment of Victor, he didn't play Sabretooth necessarily. He played Victor Creed. And I just thought he did a fantastic job as Victor Creed. Tyler Mane, it was fine. It was fine. It was over in 10 seconds, so it isn't a cameo I've given a great deal of thought about. But yeah, it was good to see. I'm a big Tyler Mane fan. Going back to the wrestling days, and then the Rob Zombie days. Going back to Halloween. I loved him in Halloween. I think he's a great Michael Myers.
My favorite,
And so, yeah, I mean, I'm a fan. He's one of those guys I'd love to meet at one of the cons one day.
It was fun. It was fun. I think, Mike, I can understand where you're coming from, but I think the whole gag was that you were expecting this big knockdown brawl, and it was just like gone, done. Yeah. Monty, how do you feel about Mane returning?
It was nice seeing him return. I said, they brought Tyler Mane back. I said, that's good. Yeah, but I'm not surprised that the fight didn't last it that long. And not surprised. Like it's like this. We already had a nice fight scene between Daredevil and Wolverine. We don't need another extended long fight. So the fact that the fight was only lasted about 10 seconds, I said, okay, that was good.
It was fun. I'm surprised. I was talking to Eric. Also, I'm a fucking dumbass. Thank God Eric corrected me, because I was like, "Oh man, doesn't it suck that Kevin Nash is dead? That we couldn't get him back as the Russian?" And I was, you could. I confused the shit out of Eric, and you're like,
that just confused me. I am hearing it for the first time.
Marty was saying, me and Marty had already seen the film, and we were talking about setting up this stream, and so we were, DMing each other about, the spoilers and stuff. And he said, because, they also have, Lady Deathstrike in the background and Calypso, and you see the Russian from Tom Jane's The Punisher, but it's obviously not Kevin Nash. And Marty says, it's too bad Kevin Nash is dead. They could have gotten him. And I said, I think you're thinking of Scott Hall, buddy. Kevin Nash is alive.
And well. I was about to say, wait a minute, that Kevin Nash is still alive.
Monty's like, when did he die? But so again, the lads are captured anyway by those ones, and we're introduced to what I think is actually probably next to the bad guy from Guardians. It's been a while since we've seen a decent kind of villain. But myself and Eric were discussing this. Cassandra Nova is like fucking. You're like, I love Deadpool and Wolverine and their stuff together. But there was part of me who's like, where's fucking Cassandra Nova? When are we getting this chick back? She is fucking awesome in this fucking flick. Eric, your thoughts on Emma Corrin as Cassandra Nova?
I know almost nothing about this character. I had to Wikipedia her when she was announced as the main villain. And Charles Xavier's twin sister. However, go down that rabbit hole. There's not enough time in the stream to discuss who she is. But I figured, she's got Professor X powers. That's all I need to fucking know. What I loved about this woman is, I think I said it in my review, and I even said it to you, Marty. She is the type of villain to me that could charm the pants off of you and then gut you at the same time.
Yeah. And
that's what it is. I like how playful she is. But she's so deadpan in a lot of it. She's talking about that there's we'll jump ahead a little bit, the scene where she's wearing Deadpool's helmet, and Deadpool says, we take this off, you're not going to kill me, right? Well, when you take this off, I'm going to kill you right away. That type of stuff. But then she's also, how serious she is after she beats up Wolverine and this and then she's like, okay, well, Alioth is hungry and the rent is due. See you later. That type of thing. She's this perfect mixture of deadly and funny, but again, the way she delivers her lines, it's so deadpan, and I absolutely loved this character. I wish there was more of her.
Yeah. I always, again, like quick rundown, she's essentially Professor X's kind of telekinetic twin who tried to strangle him with her umbilical cord in the womb.
Yeah, it's
crazy. But
it's a complicated origin from the comics.
It's comics, and I think Grant Morrison, isn't it, Monty?
I don't know what's him, was it? I think
it was. It's fucked up, and it's some weird pseudo-sexual fucking incest thing. So it's probably Grant Morrison. The thing is, this character, it hits two really cool boxes. One, she shows us how fucking dangerous it would be if Xavier was a villain, and two, she fucking enjoys living in the void. This is her fucking playpen, and everything is her toys, and that's the fucking scary thing about her. Mike, sorry, guys.
Oh well, sorry. The one thing I want to say is just again how playful she is when Wolverine gets the drop on her and stabs her from behind and lifts her up. She acts like she's in pain, but then she just turns her head, looks at him, and literally chuckles, and then pushes him away, type of thing. So that's what I love about this performance.
She's a villain who enjoys being a villain. There's no deep, well, actually, I'm the hero of my own story. No, she's just fucked in the head, and she loves being fucked in the head. Mike, what's your thoughts on Cassandra Nova and Emma Corrin's performance?
It was a decent performance. It wasn't one of the highlights of the film for me. I thought that, she made a suitable, formidable villain, but, I mean, didn't really like thinking about it, a week or two later, I don't really remember that much about her.
Okay.
It's nice that they're not making relatable villains who are not really villains. They're just misunderstood anymore. Because I think that's a trope that's been a huge error. Or at least it's so overdone that we just want an evil villain again. So it was a fun sort of evil villain, but yeah, I mean, otherwise she was just okay.
Again, like they teasered with the idea of the bit where she's shot and Wolverine's telling her about her brother. If your brother knew about you, he would have fucking torn apart the universe to fucking save you. And you're like, oh shit, they're going to make her somewhat likable. And then she's like, okay, lads, I'll let you go because there was this sorcerer here who I wore his skin for a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, there she is. There she fucking is.
Or
Like-
like that scene where we take this helmet off. You're not going to kill us, right? No, you take this helmet off. I'm going to kill you, and then I'm going to flick my beam to the Enya greatest hits. So
Yeah. She's just
it's
fucking
what she
ahead.
said. It's a vulgar response. You'd expect that from Deadpool, but the way she says it, it's just like it's just a regular line. But she's also got that grin on her face, like she wants to hurt these guys, and that's what I appreciated in this performance. We finally got, in my opinion, because it's an ongoing thing. The Marvel universe, other than Thanos, doesn't really have a strong or a memorable villain. And it was nice to see one that you could actually feel was dangerous, because we saw what she did to Johnny Storm. Just because she got tired of, she wanted the conversation to end, so she skins him. Okay, and then let's move on. That's what I like about, she can kill you in an instant if she wanted to, and you finally have at least that danger with a villain, which we haven't had in a long fucking time in the MCU.
Yeah, like with Thanos and Killmonger, there's what you could argue there's altruistic reasons. With her, she's doing it for the fuck of it.
Yeah, she's just doing it for fun. It's Tuesday.
Yeah. Monty, what's your thoughts on Cassandra Nova?
Oh, I thought Emma Corrin did a very good performance. Obviously, she was enjoying the role. She, in every scene that she's in, you can see her enjoyment. And I thought Emma really expressed her enjoyment in the particular film. You can see that she knows how powerful that she is, so that's why she can actually do it. So I thought some of the better scenes was that the fact that, unlike Charles, who can telepathically read your mind, she actually goes into your mind with her hands.
That's fucked up, dude.
Like that. I thought that was decent, and she knows that's even more creepier and deadlier than to have this Charles reach. I thought that was a great aspect of displaying her powers. Yes. I think she's one of the better villains in the MCU. Obviously, you guys did not see the Daredevil television series because I thought Vincent D'Onofrio actually was good.
Oh shit! Sorry, I should have included Vincent D'Onofrio, another fucking great film. But,
I thought he was great as Kingpin. Yeah, because you're right. The villains in most of the movies are not that good. They're not that memorable. AKA the Marvels. We'll talk about that particular villain.
but even with D'Onofrio, they try and make him somewhat sympathetic, and they make that you can kind of see, you can see Kingpin's point of view. Like Mike was saying, it's cool, but it's becoming cliched. Where it's like, oh, these guys, you're the hero of your own story. With her, it's like, as Eric says, it's Tuesday. Let's fucking murder some cunts.
There's no place for that kind of complexity in this story.
Yeah.
There's no place for a Vincent D'Onofrio Kingpin in here.
No.
D'Onofrio is great because you have 40 episodes to flesh him out. You just have all the time in the world. You've got about 2 hours here. You're keeping it light. With some, Hugh Jackman, to sort of balance things out. There's no room for, that kind of thing here. So it was what it was supposed. She is what she's supposed to be.
Yeah, I will kind of somewhat disagree with you, Mike, on the fact that I think it's a great performance. I think it's been a while, but I can see where you're coming from as well. That maybe there needs to be a bit more meat on the bones. Speaking of
I'm not saying that. I just it didn't do much for me. I mean, it was she's just kind of there, and and then she's disposable. She's gone at the end, and that's fine. I didn't dislike it. Okay.
I hope they bring her back again. It would be an interesting character, But Mike, you mentioned earlier on, and I'm kind of on the same. I'm on the same level as you, and I'll let you kick this off. There is a bit of a slump in the middle. I found, Mike.
Yeah.
Where do you think do things kind of slow down a wee bit too much for you in the movie?
Slow it down. And I don't know exactly what you would call this, but like the scenes with the dog and that Deadpool, like if you could pull that out,
Yeah.
you would lose absolutely nothing. You would just, it would be so it's like 5 minutes that are in there, and you're like, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
And
you could have introduced those characters during the Deadpool core scene easily.
Yeah. You could have, and you could have done it for 30 seconds instead of spending as much time as they did. When you go from the escape, and then I would just kind of want to meet up with the other cameos that we get into. That's that point. So that's something you could have just gotten rid of right there. There's also the second fight in the car. I wouldn't change anything about that. But
I know.
Yeah, that little thing, that thing right there, and there probably are some other things that I'm not remembering, where they just started going on a zinger fest or something like that, and I'm just like, okay, can we get back to the action? Can we get back to the to the fights? Can we get back to the seeing who else is going to show up here? That kind of thing.
I'm with you 100%, Mike, on that, and I think as well they could have condensed the diner scene into the fucking car scene. You could have put that. You could have put that interaction into the scene in the fucking car as well. Maybe while they were driving somewhere. I was like, I didn't really see the need. Why the fuck they had to stop at the diner and get this exposition when they could have had it on the road? Eric, are you with myself and Mike that there's a bit of a dip in pacing?
Yeah, I mean, Dogpool, is fun because Deadpool likes the ugliest dog in England. That's the top. The dog was chosen. It won a contest like that. But you could have taken out that whole. They get on the Sentinel leg. They crash land on the mountain, and they could have literally just found the car at the diner.
Yeah,
we didn't have to deal with Nice Pool, I guess is what they're calling him. And so I know they're using that to set it up when he comes back at the end, but that was a little too much. We didn't need him to, oh no, here, I just happen to have a car, take it, you know what I mean? And then they have to argue over the dog type of thing. They could have just showed up at the diner. They got to eat some food. Wolverine has to get drunk. He's such an alcoholic. He's drinking the alcohol out of the rubbing alcohol out of the first aid kit. So we could have. That's where they got the car. Could have been an abandoned car at the diner type of thing. So that little scene could have been completely taken out with Nice Pool.
Yeah,
I don't get me wrong. I liked him. I thought he was funny. He was a fun, opposite of Deadpool. He was I don't want to say unlikable douchebag, but he's very punchable. You know what I mean? He's so nice. You just want to punch him.
It's one of those asshole, Mr. Perfect assholes that you knew at school or college.
They could have definitely taken that out, gone to the diner, got some food, and then found a car, and then get on the road and then have their fight.
I would have even excised the diner scene myself. Again, I know there was important exposition there, but I just felt that would have been better suited to them in the car on the road. Monty, do you think we're fucking high on crack that we all think that you could have removed that slump?
Yeah, it kind of, I understand the change of pace and that, but I don't think you really needed to bring Deadpool at that particular point, or even Nice Pool for that. They could have waited until later on to bring those two characters on. You kind of like change the pace up, and it's like, okay, that's nice. And it's like, okay, can we get back to that? This is not working for me. Yeah. So that kind of slowed the thing down. They kind of changed the tone, and they kind of not drag the film, but it's like, why are we looking at this guy talk about this ugly ass dog and Nice Pool? It's like, yeah, but it kind of dragged the film. I understand they were trying to bring in something that's been done in the comics with all the Deadpool variants, like with Nice Pool and Dog Pool, and all the other ones that we see later on in the movie. But they could have waited until later on to bring those characters on.
Yeah, the Deadpool core scene, you could have Nice Pool and Dogpool come out first and try and warn him or some shit.
Mhm.
I just felt it, like Mike said, it didn't hobble the movie, but it definitely fucking, you're like, okay, come on, can we get to a fight or some characters or
Yeah.
something like that,
It didn't add anything.
No.
So you'd have to be generous in saying that it didn't take away, which I kind of feel that it did. The diner scene, could have lived without it, could have been on the road, could have still had the dialogue, but
in the car, if the fucking the two lads are just shooting shit in the car, and it would have made a bit more sense as well.
What they could have done, because Deadpool is so breaking the fourth wall, they literally could have crash landed, done that little joke of, about Deadpool on top of Wolverine. They could have had a scene where they're just walking and they find a car. Deadpool could have looked at the camera and said, "Wow, that's mighty convenient," and then you see them driving, type of thing. They could have cut out a good 15 minutes.
Fuck it, because he worked at a fucking car dealership, he could pretend it's a commercial or sort of product placement. Jesus Christ, MCU really need the money. They're doing product placements.
Yeah.
But so they get the car off they get the car off Nice Pool. They're driving along, and then that fucking argument breaks out. Do we need to go over the argument again, or Monty? What do you guys think? Do you want to just skip on to the cameos or discuss that argument?
Yeah, we've already talked about. I mean, it is what it is. They get in a fight. Deadpool gets talked down to, and it's a great fight though. I love how they're fighting to a song from Grease, because it's just so this soundtrack I think fits all the scenes that they're used in. But they get into a fight and then they're taken away by X-23. That's all you really need to say.
So that leads us on to a pretty fucking kick-ass scene where we're introduced to some old friends. Monty, when these guys started walking through the door, what was going through your head?
Well, I always enjoyed Jennifer Garner, from Alias to obviously the Ben Affleck Daredevil. I actually thought she was good in her own version of Elektra. And of course, I love Peppermint. I thought that was a very good movie. I was a very good fan of Jennifer Garner. I really did enjoy seeing her come back as Elektra. Obviously, the main thing was seeing Wesley Snipes come back as Blade, because when he came out to whatchamacallit, people stood up, started clapping. I even started clapping because I had no idea that he was going to be in this particular film, especially after what happened between him and Ryan Reynolds on the set of Blade Trinity, yes. Although both actors said that they really did not have that any particular problem. It was more like Wesley Snipes getting angry at David Goyer. I think he was fussing at him, not that they have any issues between each other.
The fun fact: the scene where Blade is on the mortuary slab at the end of that movie, they had to digitally make his eyes look like they were closed, because Snipes would not close his eyes just to fuck with the director. They had to spend a couple million just to make it look that Snipes' eyes were fucking closed.
Because Wesley Snipes said it was the first time he actually had to act with a guy, Ryan Reynolds, who unfortunately likes to joke a lot. So that's what I think. There's was some confusion on the set on Blade Trinity, that it's the first time, but they never had any issues. Like I said before, it was mainly just Blade and David Goyer just having very disagreements with the whole problem on the set.
Yeah, it's again, it's probably one of those things like Chinese whispers, that it got spread, the rumor got spread, and that's what people fucking thought for ages. I fucking love. I never knew. I knew about it. I knew there was a movie in the works. Channing Tatum as Gambit. Yeah. Oh my good fucking god! And the fucking dialogue between him and Deadpool. I'm sorry, you'll have to repeat that. It's been 4 years since I saw Sling Blade. I'm like, fuck, this is fucking.
Or what does he say? He says, "Who's your dialogue coach? The Minions?" Stuff like that. Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah.
I like the fact he's acknowledging as well that all these characters are from other properties. He's like, I don't know how I got here. I think I was
Yeah.
born here. It's like,
Yeah.
Monty, what did you think of Tatum's fucking version?
He looked fat. I don't know why his face looked weird.
It's
like-
the mask. It's obviously the mask.
Yeah, it's the mask, but it made, because I know Channing Tatum's not fat, but when I see him coming out, and I say, because it took me a while to realize who it was. I said, I know it's Gambit, but then I realized, oh yeah, that's right, there's Channing Tatum in the supposed Gambit movie that never got made. And I know enough, and once Deadpool started making jokes about that, but it's like, why does his face look fat? And I said that, oh, it's the outfit that makes it look fat. Now, this is an interesting story because there's a YouTuber called Jessica Bell. I don't know if you ever listened to her videos. She definitely did not like this particular version of Gambit at all. And that's why she did not like this particular. She did not like Channing Tatum as Gambit. Although I did like how they used his powers in the particular film, because it's the first time, unlike Taylor Kitchen, he was the one that played Gambit in the unlike that one, Wolverine origin storyline. But I think this was the first time we actually see a live version of Gambit where they actually depict his powers correctly.
Yeah, he was comic book accurate. I liked him. Again, it's cool. It looks goofy now that you're looking at the thing, but at the same time, it's a nice nod to fucking the cartoons and the comic and stuff.
Well, you got to think about it this way, though. What works in a comic book visually isn't necessarily always going to work in live action.
Yeah,
that's why we're going to get to it. But I always thought, Hugh Jackman would look like a fucking idiot if he wore the cowl. You know what I mean? Because it looks cool on paper doesn't mean when a human is going to put it on, it's going to look. Think of it this way: if you really saw any of the X-Men walking down the street in your neighborhood, they'd look fucking stupid. Okay, they really would. And so you have to take that into effect. If you want them to be comic accurate, well, you're going to have to allow a little bit of leeway because a lot of them are going to look like fucking morons.
Jesus, if I saw him, I'd be like, Jesus, lads, don't go to the convention with that.
I mean, especially
look at Captain America. Captain America. Chris Evans loved the character, but he looks like a dork with that mask and everything like that. You know what I mean? He sells it with his performance, but if you just, look at all these cosplayers, they're comic accurate costumes, but they look like dorks. But that's what happens when you bring a comic character into a live action world. You're gonna take that chance. That's why they made the jokes in the first X-Men movie. What do you expect? Yellow spandex? That's why, because they had to wear the black leather because they'd look goofy as hell.
Mm-hmm.
His costume looks a bit silly, but at the same time, as you said, it's comic accurate. And it's cool in some regards, and I think they shot it right. Like just looking at it still here, it just looks weird. But I think the way it was shot, it kind of worked. Mike, what did you think of the cameos with these characters?
I thought it was great. Like I said, based on seeing it, I ended up going out and purchasing Elektra. Just from I like that movie a lot. Always been a big fan of Blade. I mean, we all are.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about Gambit. Gambit comes at that was after, I never read Gambit, so I was never familiar with the character at that point. And I never picked up on his character in terms of at that particular time, it's kind of had stopped reading comics. So it didn't have any impact on me one way or the other. I thought the guy, Channing Tatum, I thought he did a fine job. It was not a character that oh my God, it's Channing Tatum, that it didn't have any impact on me at all.
Yeah. He's an interesting character, Gambit, when he first appears in the X-Men comic book series. At the time, Storm had been de-aged, and she runs the Gambit in New Orleans, and they because Storm is a thief and he's a thief, so that's how they bond. The bond together. So that's how then we eventually learn more of Gambit Gambit's backstory, but then we actually even learn more, and we actually find out that actually he was the leader of the Marauders during the mutant massacre of the Morlocks.
Yeah.
Okay.
It,
I remember the
it's,
Morlocks. Okay.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
I again, I don't think he's anywhere as good as the one that appeared in X-Men 97. That was a hard act to fucking follow.
Oh yeah. Oh
but
yeah.
but him talking to Deadpool, he's like, oh, I shot up my daddy's dick. I said, what's up, Doc? He said, Deadpool's even disgusted with the shit he said. So I was like, okay, I like this character. I may not fucking think he's like the genuine fucking kind of way Gambit should be done, but he was fun. And then fucking the actress Staphine Keane.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to. Yeah.
She fucking was awesome as well, because every interview there was people that were doing interviews and you could kind of tell, oh, they were going to be in this or that. Fucking, she was doing the Acolyte interviews to the Acolyte, and people kept on asking her, oh, like, what's your thoughts on Hugh Jackman? Oh yeah, I was never asked to be in it and stuff. Fucking that girl should go into playing professional fucking poker, man. That was
she was like Andrew Garfield, how he had to lie about not being in No Way Home. They had to lie for a year.
Both him and Tobey Maguire, yes, they both had to lie.
And she was a great surprise. I mean, she needs to be the one to motivate Logan to join the team. There's that great scene again, by the campfire. But what I love about her is, she's still as vicious as she was in Logan, and just the little bits of stuff by her, like her. I love how she still got the child sunglasses that she wears. That's her battle outfit when she's cutting people in half, and she was a lot of fun too.
She was great. Daphne Keane was a nice addition, and I was pleasantly surprised when she turned up. Mike, because I know you wanted to fucking talk about the character X-23. What do you think of the addition of her?
Oh, it was a great addition. This is a character, I have some investment in because obviously from the Logan storyline. And she played the part extremely well, as an older sort of, more mature, a little less reactive. She was constantly just punching people, including Logan in that first movie. It was great. It was great. It was a weird thing with Wesley Snipes, though. And it was great to see him. I'd love to see him give one more. I would love to see him in another Blade movie before I see Mahershala Ali. I think he's still got it. I think we saw it, that he still got it. I'd love to see him get one more movie, and then you can hand it off. Then who knows? Maybe they'll do some sort of variant, because that seems to be in production hell.
Like we were saying on your Ghost Rider stream, maybe a passing of the torch or something like that.
Something. I mean, because the guy still has it. It would have been nice. I mean, if you had got to see him kill one vampire, like vampire, because it would have been cool. It would have been cool.
Jared Leto was Morbius as one of Cassandra Nova's fucking.
Yeah, that would have been great. That would have been great.
Give her $50. Have Tracy Lords come back from the first movie. One thing I want to say about Blade.
Cameo. Yeah, there you go.
One thing I want to say about Blade is, Wesley Snipes still had the action. He still had the attitude. I like the scene. There's this. I won't say the R word because you're going to get flagged on YouTube. Okay, but his first. There's this ongoing thing that's his first word. Deadpool says, "I thought you were retired." He says the R word. No, retired. I don't want to get canceled type of thing. I don't like you. You never did. They had good chemistry. But then I like how they're trying to figure out who the next member of the Others is, or whatever they're called. And Deadpool thinks it's Magneto. Cassandra killed him. Fuck. You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Then she crushed his helmet.
Well, I'm sure Magneto may be dead, but I'm sure his helmet is around here. Cassandra melted his helmet. Fuck. She did it right after she killed him. Fuck. She don't play. You know what I mean? It's typical. It reminded me of like Demolition Man era Wesley Snipes, where he is just he has a comedic timing, and it was fun seeing that, because the last 10 years after he got out of prison and stuff, he just has this persona of like a grumpy old man. And it was good to see him having fun. You know what I mean? I've seen a lot of the promotion, that they've had for Deadpool and Wolverine. It's good to see him smiling again. You know what I mean? He was so happy to be at that convention, and it was nice to see.
Big project.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
He got out, and it's like everybody just kind of forgot about him.
Yeah, they did him a favor and threw him in Expendables 3, but other than that, he was in Coming to America sequel that no one saw, and.
This guy was like an A-list. If he wasn't A-list, he was close to it at one point, and they put him in prison for 3 years for what? Taxes? Like
tax evasion, yeah.
Yeah, they kind of made an example out of him. And then when he got out, he hasn't been able to get back. So I hope this is the start of, him being able to, start to land big roles again.
He was cool. He was kick-ass. And like where they're rocking up to fucking Cassandra's fortress, and he has the bazooka, and Deadpool's like, "Who's that? Oh, that's the Punishers. Which one? There's been 5. There's only ever been one blade." He just fucking
only ever will be one blade.
One blade. And Deadpool just looks at the camera, and it's like, "You fucker, you." Yeah. I love that scene.
Oh man. Yeah, because even though he says a lot of zingers, some of the zingers that Ryan, it's his comedic timing and how he says it is cracking me up, especially that scene. Which Punisher? There's been 5. Yeah.
But
I think was it Dolph Lundgren? He played the Punisher.
I think he's including the animated one because there's Dolph Lundgren, fucking Thomas Jane, Ray Stevenson, John Burtell, and there was the one from the 90s Spider-Man who was really fucking good. I forget the actor's name, but it was actually it was good. But it was just that kind of battle. That was a cool kind of battle leading up to that, where they blow up fucking Ant-Man's hands. The fortress is basically Ant-Man's fucking skull. Sorry, Mike. What?
No, I said that was the gate.
Yeah. That was cool, but they just all go in and start fucking shit up, and Gambit's like, I'm gonna make a name for myself here.
Yeah. You know what? I want to give props to Jennifer Garner because she had a really good performance, and she wasn't just there to look pretty and kick ass either. She had really good line delivery when they're in the cave. I like that little jab she took at Ben Affleck, because they're divorced. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Daredevil's dead. It's okay. You know what I mean? That type of stuff. There's a lot of stuff. Hugh Jackman recently got divorced. Hugh Jackman recently got divorced, and Ryan Reynolds made a joke. Oh, he's put on some weight since the divorce. That type of little insider knowledge, but they're able to use it and make the movie fun. But Jennifer Garner, I mean, me and Mike have been watching like her training videos, like when she was getting back into shape, and she didn't pussyfoot around it. Her training videos, like she was taking this seriously, training with the size and the shit in the gym. Major props to her too, because Elektra wasn't a big hit. You know what I mean? People could have, people kind of really have forgotten about her.
Yeah.
And it was great to see her back, but it wasn't just a joke. That's what I meant earlier, how they used the cameos to sell the film, but these actors were used properly, not just in the fight scenes, but in, when they're just talking to each other in the cave and stuff like that. I think they're really well used.
They give the characters a kind of arc as well that they never really got to have in those movies.
And that's what Jennifer says at the end. She says, and we'll get our ending. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at the picture and see the tone in her arms.
Mm-hmm.
She looks like one of those CrossFit athletes,
Yeah.
She really got into shape for this. It's important to remember, preaching to the choir here, that, the Jennifer Gardners and the Wesley Snipes and the Chris Evans, Johnny Storm, the Tyler Maines, they were the foundation that the MCU was built on.
Mm-hmm.
They were the first heroes, and it's easy to just keep talking about Downey Jr. or, whoever else you want to talk about, but
they paved the way. We wouldn't have the MCU if it wasn't for the likes of them.
Yeah, because if Blade does not have the success that it has, then you don't get the Spider-Man films.
Right.
And
Yeah.
Also,
and so when we they did a little bit of that in the No Way Home, movie when they brought back Tobey Maguire, and was that the one No Way Home?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no way.
Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, but here, because they were there before, but now these guys are getting their due, and I think it's great. I think it's great.
I like as well, they kind of funnily acknowledge their age as well. It's like Wolverine's like, you got that poor Johnny kid killed. Kid, he was fucking 50. I love that line.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Kid, he was fucking 50. That was great. But so they managed to make their way into Cassandra's compound anyway, and there's a big fuck off brawl. They need to get fucking Juggernaut's helmet. And what was it? You must be this year's Juggernaut. And Pyro ends up fucking betraying Cassandra Nova. They hop in, Deadpool and Wolverine escape, and then they're faced by the Deadpool Corps. Is there anything about the prior fight that you want to discuss, or will we kind of move up to the Deadpool Corps fight, or is there anything in between?
Nah.
Not really, no. I mean, other than the fact that we now know Pyro's working for the TVA, that's where that's revealed, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, Pyro always was a douche, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was. It's cool because like there's just before they're kind of wiped out, Blade's just there like, oh, there's always these motherfuckers still trying to skate uphill.
Mm-hmm.
I love that line as well.
Yeah.
But,
my only complaint is, I guess you'd say, is there's so much action going on in this fight and with the Deadpool Corps. It's hard to focus on one thing. You know what I mean? Because you miss so much because so much is happening. You might be focusing on Channing Tatum being kick-ass, but you're missing what Jennifer Garner's doing over here. You're missing what Wesley Snipes. So if I have to kind of knock it for the awesome action, there is so much happening. It's hard to see everything, and this is definitely going to be one of those you either got to see twice in the theaters or buy it and just kind of freeze frame it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm with you on the first fight, Eric, because I found it was a bit choppy. Mm-hmm. It's like like characters are about like you think some character's going to die and it cuts and it chops back again, and I'm like, come on, hold down with the camera. You don't need to go Paul Greengrass. But the Deadpool Corps fight, I think that was actually inspired by a lot of the kind of the MCU TV shows, the corridor fights, because there has to be a corridor or hallway fight in movies. And
Deadpool did in the apartment building in the first season. Yeah.
Yeah. It's I think that's what they were going for. But the thing is, the point you make as well is kind of conducive to comics as well. If you have so much action going on in one page or in one panel, it's easy to fucking miss. If you have too much fucking messy shit happening, it can be hard to focus on one thing. And I can see where you're coming from that point of view, but I also enjoyed it as well because they put a bit of comedy into the fight. But Monty, the Deadpool Corps, what's your thoughts on the fight, and who was part of the Deadpool Corps?
Yeah, it was a nice homage to the Deadpool Corps. Obviously, we see Lady Deadpool. If you didn't catch the voice, that was Blake Lively's. That was Blake Lively voicing the Lady Deadpool. Nice little nod right there. You get all the Deadpool variants that's been that we see in the comics. You got the Deadpool head right there. You got the you got the cowboy Deadpool. You got all these other types of Deadpool variants on this one. So I thought it was a nice inclusion into the movie.
It was fun. It was cool as well. And like the bit where Deadpool is like, so you ready to fight? And goes, I get to kill 100 of you. You're damn right I'm gonna fucking fight. Also, I gotta thank Eric again because I would have not realized that was Matthew McConaughey as Cowboy Deadpool.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that again, it was fun. It was a cool, fun fight. And the prior fight was serious. This one was a bit more kind of silly because you had like Wolverine fighting a bunch of Deadpools, and then Deadpool's behind him, like trying to shove him forward and just to fight in the bus. I just thought it was cool. It was nicely choreographed. but like Eric said, there was maybe a bit too much going on all at once. Mike, what was your thoughts on actually Deadpool and Wolverine before the fight? Wolverine puts on the mask. Did you get a kind of like, did it fucking excite you, or were you getting
Yeah. I didn't think that I would. I didn't know that was going to happen, but when it happened, I'm like, fuck, that actually looks pretty cool. I don't know if I would have had him keep it on, which he kind of did throughout the rest of the film, or at least through the the closing act of the action sequence when we get to the climax. But yeah, I mean, it was cool. It was cool to see him, put that cowl on. Like I said, I didn't anticipate it. I thought generally when I first saw photos that he was in the yellow outfit, I was like, oh Jesus, because like Eric said, I'm not sure that transfers over the film. He managed to pull it off nicely. I wouldn't necessarily say that. I would say that's more the exception than the rule, though. Because
I wouldn't want a whole movie of him wearing the fucking thing.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to see Christian Bale Batman walking down the street. You're like, what the fuck is this? That doesn't look.
I did like the line though. You wear that for special occasions, mostly killing. That type of stuff.
He's already killed a bunch of fucking people. Like when you pull it, I liked as well Deadpool going, oh, what's the fucking wind resistance on those blowjob handles? That was a fucking great line.
I thought that the way he used Nice Pool as a human shield.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I didn't really care all that much for the Deadpool core fight scene. It was okay. If you had not had it, I would have been okay too. But yeah, it was pretty rough actually, because it's the second person. Well, not really, because when we get to the credit with Johnny Storm, and you realize that Deadpool wasn't making all that stuff up. But yeah, he just kind of sacrifices the Nice Pool guy, and that was it was a pretty good scene.
Well, what I liked is how
even Wolverine is like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like.
I liked how he uses Nice Pool as a human shield before and after his head blows up, and all Logan has to do is just walk, from point A to point B holding dog pool, and they don't want to hurt the dog, and eventually it cuts to Wolverine just walking with the dog, flipping them off. You know what I mean? And then he sits down, behind the truck so he can be safe too.
He died a hero. He died a fucking murderer, you idiot. Oh, don't worry, it's a hot dog stand. That's basically a triage unit. It's like, what the fuck? But it was great. I enjoyed that bit. It was definitely a lot sillier than the fight we got beforehand.
Yeah.
I was a bit disappointed by how they defeated Cassandra Nova. I get her trying to do a sacrifice thing, but I would have preferred a bit more of a face-off. Eric, what did you think of the kind of last kind of section with them going to sacrifice themselves and such?
Well, first off, I didn't like how the fight with the Deadpool Corps ended. I would have been okay with them just all being dead and not being able to regenerate. I didn't like the whole Peter comes and saves them thing. I could have done without that. But I'm okay with them thinking they have to sacrifice themselves to destroy Cassandra Nova. I'm fine with that. What I didn't like, and I hate when movies do this, is when they're doing the human chain. You know what I mean? Deadpool and Wolverine, that's fine. But when the director speeds up the camera frames and she's shaking her head like super fast, like I'm shaking my hand right now. And that's how you have Logan and Deadpool reacting. It seems so off, and it's too comic booky. I think if you would have just seen this actress show that she's suffering through this electrocution or whatever the fuck it is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Them suffering through the pain like a normal actor would, instead of speeding it up and making it so jarring like that, it would have been a lot better, because this was a serious moment. We know Deadpool is not going to die. You know what I mean? We don't know if Logan is going to die or not, because we don't know, Hugh Jackman's going to do this till he's 90 type of bullshit. But I think that speeding up the camera frames like that kind of just took the seriousness of the situation out for me.
I think it would have been better if she had been, if her head started spaghettifying, because kind of comeuppance, because she kind of does that to people by putting her hands into their head. If something had happened, if her head started unraveling or something, it would have been more of a fitting death. Again, it didn't have the punch as much of the punch I would have liked. I guess you can't really face off in a fisticuffs with that character, but it just for me,
she's already shown how pretty much invincible she is if she doesn't have her mind blocked. You know what I mean?
So I don't know. Go on, Mike. Sorry.
I was gonna say I didn't think that there were any stakes in the final battle. Like there was never any question that the good guys were going to come out on top.
Right.
So it was arbitrary. It could have been one thing, it could have been another. It really didn't. It didn't matter much. I did like, where Wolverine sacrifices himself. He's like, I got nothing. You got friends. You got that woman that you're trying to get back with. I'm 200 years old. Let me go. And so that was a piece of real inside of the usual that we were getting. I did think that Cassandra Nova was a great setup to show, and this is where it worked, not necessarily in anything that she did, but to show what a douchebag Mr. Paradox was.
Yeah.
That was, I think, that was the success of her actions and those particular scenes, and one, just how useless Paradox was, but also almost like a politician. He would just jump right back in there and try to take the credit for something that he caused. On day one, I'm going to close the border. Well, you fucking open the border, you dumb fuck. It's just, you can fucking shut down the border today. You're the fucking vice president, you stupid.
It was very very kind of politician thing. Oh, they were my friends, my two friends, these two good men. You're like, you fucking prick.
Yeah, he's just completely useless, but he's so vapid and fucking evil that he's just oily. He's just oily. And you're just like, oh, this guy's just. You don't want to be next to him, you feel like you need to take a fucking shower. So that was for me, the highlight of Cassandra Nova's actions. It got to expose who the real kind of bad guy was. Because I think at the end of the day, he is the actual villain. I don't think it's Cassandra Nova.
She would have been fine if she was left alone. She just wanted to be left alone.
If he hadn't tried to kill, she was happy out in the fucking void. It was her playpen.
She was also cast out. She was cast out as well. Right? That's how she ended up there. Everybody that's in there is cast out. She just happened to make something out of it.
Yeah.
So
oh, sorry, Mike.
No, go ahead. That's it.
No. Go, because I don't like cutting across people. One.
No, that was everything. That was it.
Cool. Monty, what did you think of the final kind of battle and section and kind of resolution to the movie?
It was kind of anticlimactic, to say the least. I did like the interactions between Logan and Deadpool. Both, Wolverine saying, go on ahead because you got a family here. My world is dead. Let me go ahead and make the final sacrifice. Trying to make amends. Finally doing the right thing that he didn't do the first time. And I actually thought seeing Deadpool trick him, and do him finally becoming the hero that we know that he really never does, but now he's finally being the hero. I do agree with you, Eric. That shaky head thing, I don't know why people try to do that special effect. Doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, it works if it's an hallucination. Like I think the first time I saw that was what was that movie? Is that darn it, it'll come to me. It'll come to me. Not the Serpent's Rainbow. The shaky head thing was the first time I saw it. I can't remember the movie now. It'll come to me. Yeah, I thought it would have been better for head spaghettified, just like everything else was spaghettified. I think that effect would have worked better, not the shaky head thing.
Yeah, it would have made, as I said,
Jacob's Ladder.
More sense.
Jacob's Ladder.
Yeah, Jacob's Ladder. Yes. Yeah, it's that kind of head shaking thing is the only other time I've seen it used is in music videos for Tool or
Mhm.
FX Twin. It's like if you want to fucking creep people out, yeah, but I don't know, it's a good way to show a villain being dispatched. Like Monty was saying, I think if she got spaghettified and if it showed her head unraveling, it would have been like kind of fucking just desserts considering what she does with her hands. Yeah, it's still a fun ending and the good guys win and stuff. Monty, final thoughts on the movie?
Like I said, very good movie. Obviously, great chemistry between Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. Like I said, they're good friends in life. You can see that they were both enjoying the film. I love how Hugh Jackman plays off of Ryan Reynolds' straight man in his uh, insistent clowning around and not being serious.
Yeah,
But you can see they really did a good job. Great chemistry, a nice thing on the cameos. Emma Corrin was very good as Cassandra Nova. Like I said, really did enjoy the film. I don't know if this will actually bring the MCU back, but at least they finally got their $1 billion movie back again.
yeah, it's a gasp. It's a gasp of a drowning child. Hopefully, someone will fucking heist the poor kid out of the pool. Mike, final thoughts on the movie?
It was great. It was a great film. It's fun. It's a fun, sort of, action comedy with just enough drama to sort of counterbalance it. It's nice to see that Marvel can do something, when it sort of puts its mind to it. I'm at a position where I'm kind of over, comic book movies, just in general. But it's like No Way Home. Every once in a while, it'll still throw you something and show you that hey, there are still good stories out there. Extremely well written script.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds, Paul Wernick, just really, really took the time to love this script. Clearly, a bit of a love letter to the old heroes, like we've talked about. It's a feel-good movie. It's a feel-good movie. You walk out there, you're like, wow, that was a cool 2 hours that I just spent. That was worthwhile. I had my popcorn, I had my soda, and yeah, I sat back and enjoyed it. The MC, my understanding is that, they're coming out with this new Captain America movie. It looks intriguing. I heard that they've returned to a grounded sort of, maybe like a, Winter Soldier kind of Civil War kind of thing. So who knows? Maybe Marvel will make a resurgence in this new phase. We'll see.
Physical pickup for you when it comes on Blu-ray or 4K?
Maybe. It's not something I have to have.
Okay.
It's not it's not the ones that I have to have. Like Long Legs. When Long Legs comes, I'm buying the fuck out of that DVD. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I might grab it. Just to say that I have. I don't own any of the others. I don't own any of the others.
Eric, final thoughts on the movie?
I had a lot of fun. It's not going to change the MCU. It's not going to save it, but it's cleansing the palate is what it is. It's making comic book movies fun. I said this, when we were together on Mike's channel. Sometimes, not every fucking comic book movie has to be The Dark Knight. Sometimes you want a Ghost Rider or Fantastic Four. That's what this is. It's a lot of fun. And you have a lot of fun. I'm glad it wasn't as Deadpool-y as the previous two, you know what I mean? Because it had the heart in it. It had Jackman did what he did to keep that 50-50. The action was great, even though you got to really fucking pay attention because there's so much going on. But that's what it is. I went in there, it was a lot of fun. I mean, think of it. I want to know how much money over these past 2 weeks Madonna and NSYNC has made from this fucking soundtrack with downloads. You know what I mean?
I'm getting sick. I'm getting sick of going on to YouTube, looking up people making Deadpool cupcakes to like a prayer, or fucking Deadpool fucking Lego sets to like a fucking prayer.
Well, that's the problem. You know, some people got to ruin it for me. Yes, I'm sick of bye because I hear that every time on Instagram. But in its defense, for the film, I think the music was used perfectly. You know what I mean? It gave you that fun tone. You know, the NSYNC song is a nod back to X-Men 2. You know, when they're driving in the car, they stole Cyclops' car and they turn on the radio, and the CD is NSYNC. That song. So that was a fun nod. Like a Prayer. I'm not a huge Madonna fan, but I like that song, and I think the fact that it was used while people were getting shot and chopped up was a lot of fun. And then the fact after Cassandra's dead, and you know, we think, you know, our two heroes dead, and they fucking walk out slow motion to that Goo Goo Dolls City of Angels song. You know what I mean? It set the tone, and the music choice was perfect. James Gunn isn't the only fucker that can have a good soundtrack in a comic book movie, okay? You know what I'm saying? In the end, I got what I wanted. 2 hours of fun, heart, cameos. It was I probably will buy it because I do own the previous two, but this will probably be the first MCU movie that I've bought in a long time. I literally only own like maybe 3. And there's fucking 30 of these movies. So
I like, again, you're dead right about the music. Like, and Mike was saying this is a love letter to the Marvel movies, to the kind of early to mid 2000s, and you had like fucking Green Day's Good Riddance on that really nice montage.
I love that montage during the credits where it shows
nice
all the 20th Century Fox.
Oh, yeah, I thought,
that was a good.
That was a good
thank
one.
you letter. Yeah.
The thing of it is that, you know, with these movies, the older movies, the original movies, however you want to, pre-2008, however you want to phrase it, part of, you know, what was wrong was the lack of a story. The stories weren't always the greatest. And we were happy to get them because they were the first of their kind. So it was your first chance to see the Fantastic Four. Story wasn't, you know, tight. We saw later what comic books could become. And I was saying this, I think, when we were talking about Ghost Rider, by the time we got to Batman Begins, like in 2006, like those first 5 minutes of Liam Neeson and Christian Bale talking in the prison. And you're like, fuck, I didn't know you could do this with a comic book movie. You know, and they did. So to have these guys come back with a storyline and a big budget, you know, shows that the proper appreciation is being applied here. You know, they deserve this chance to come back in a $1 billion movie and say, yeah, you know, we were here first. And I think that's the coolest part of it.
Yeah, they laid the foundations for subsequent movies and the MCU to come. So yeah, before I wrap it up, Monty, what has the horror miser have in store for people this week, and what's out that they can check out?
If you haven't seen, I have my reviews of The Mousetrap. It's semi-rant on that one, and my review of Trap.
Oh, Trap was different. It was different.
Yeah, very different. Very different. I'll just say nepotism is very alive and well, especially in that movie. I just to piggyback. I saw Jen had warned me not to see that particular film, but Kelly and I went to see it this weekend, and I understand the reason why she despises that movie. And I said to myself, it's not the worst film for M. Night Shyamalan. But unfortunately, I that third act. And that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, I think they're setting up for a new trilogy, almost like an Unbreakable trilogy.
I hope not.
Oh,
I think so.
That's all we fucking need. Mike, what has the American Werewolf in New Jersey have in store for people, and what's out they can check out?
Wednesday, we're down, man. We're down. Well, first of all, I want to say that I was going to make a video for Cuckoo, but it's so fucking stupid. I don't feel like, fucking talking about it anymore.
Fucking hates this movie.
It's like the Shia, something about the birds.
What the fuck, man? I was going to, and I'm like, I don't want to talk about that movie. So Wednesday, we're going to be there with Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance, because we have a thread that I'm working on right now of comic book movies that occurred before the MCU. So we've got a whole list of movies that we're going to be covering that are fun. Monty, if you want to join us, I'll get you the list of the films. You'd be welcome to come on. We're going to be going this way, and the movies that I'm picking are pretty readily accessible. So
you're doing the Roger Corman Fantastic Four.
That's your invite gone. That's your fucking invite gone.
I was looking for the eject button, but I forgot I'm not the host of the fucking stream. So all right, so
you just burned that bridge, Monty.
No? Yeah, I know. Light that motherfucker on fire. All right. Like the bridge on the fucking River Kwai. There's Alec Guinness over here. Yeah, the bridge. So we'll be there on Wednesday with Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance, and then on Thursday night, I think at 7:00, I've got tickets for fucking Alien Romulus, and I'm gonna watch the living fuck out of that movie. I'm hoping that sometime after the weekend we get a chance to assemble again. I'm happy to host it, unless somebody else wants to, and discuss that. I've heard really good things so far, and I'm a huge fan of Fede Alvarez. And I'm a huge fan of the Alien films. So I don't see how you can go wrong.
Cool. Eric, what have you kind of cooking, and can people check out at the moment?
Nothing worth promoting so much that I've already done, because it's been a lot of schlock and crap. Fun doing it, but that was a rough patch. But I will say this coming Saturday, August 17th, Alex Frenzy and I, from Two Greater Losers and our numerous collaborations, we're finally getting back together after God knows, I think the last time we got together was maybe 4 or 5 months ago. We're getting back with our first live stream, and we're doing a watch along because we've discussed the original Mortal Kombat movie. He has trashed the new one that came out, but he's always wondered about how bad Mortal Kombat Annihilation really is. He's only
are you going to be drinking during this fucking stream?
Hey, well, he might need a drink afterwards.
You fucking load up in the Prozac and the fucking Jack, man. That's all I fucking say.
So we're getting together. We're going to do a little watch along of that, but it's also going to be just a way to reunite and bullshit, because it's been so long. And we're not doing one of these commentaries where we're watching the film and it's quiet for like 15 minutes. We're going to talk about the film. We're just going to talk about the usual bullshit we talk about type of thing. And it's just going to be a fun thing to do. And it's going to be nice because this is the beginning. We're not bringing back the podcast, but we're going to start live streaming a lot more together. I don't know, maybe once every month and a half type of thing. But this is going to be the one to kick it off, I guess. And then I'll be with Mike Wednesday for Spirit of Vengeance.
There's Skinamax pornos, softcore pornos with better fucking acting and fucking pacing than that fucking movie.
Yeah,
Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh man!
But I know for a fact, Marty, with you and your Trash Fire Cinema, you've watched a lot worse too.
Yeah, I have. Again, thanks, Shane. I seen puppets. Fuck. Thanks a million, babe. Also, big thanks to Creepy McGee, Larry. We had the Mad Bloods, Sean, the awesome Sean Erskine was in the chat, and that's it. And I just want to thank the three because I know this went on a bit longer than I had intended. But big thanks to Monty. Always big thanks to Eric. And I suppose I might as well thank fucking Mike as well, sure.
Why the hell not?
But
while we're here.
I wanna drop some links to these guys' channels in the description as well. Big thanks to everyone who stopped by. And have a good one. Take care. Bye now.
Cheers.